Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. For all the censors out there, I want to assure you again, at the New Health Conversation, we don't make claims. We don't share anything that's not backed by medical proof, so it's safe. It's been vetted. It's been examined by the top weight loss nutrition researchers in the world. So nothing that we share at the New Health Conversation is an opinion, just so you understand. So we stay within community guidelines because we do not share anything that's not medically backed and it has been proven. We've also written 4 best-selling books of some of the top medical doctors in the world. So we either quote from direct medical studies or from the research that we've done. It's our research. We're not plagiarizing. We're not stealing anything from anybody else. So it's important that you all know that. So Gore, hello Jay Stone, hello Jerry. So I guess the question of the day is, do you think that's the same woman? Because that really is 30 days. That I can tell you for sure. That's all I'm going to tell you. Now let's assume any of you, if you want to, if you were going to lose 25 pounds, you were going to lose 25 pounds. How long, honestly, would you could pick any trainer you want, any trainer, any diet, how long would you give yourselves to lose 25 pounds? This is an important, hello Serena, hello Min, hello Katuska, hello Keith, hello S. McKnight, hello Sheila, Kim, Charlie. Wow, you're all coming on pretty fast this morning. But again, I'd just like the Divine Writer, Julie, do any of you have an idea about what you'd give yourself if you had a great outcome to lose 25 pounds, how long would you say you would take to do that? So lots of people joining us this morning. Okay, now I know that Miss Me Health, Carrie, wow, lots and lots of people. If I don't say hello to you, it's only because I'm really concentrating on what I'm going to share with you next, okay? So I know what everybody wants to know is how in the world is this real? Is it safe? Is it Memorex? Okay, let's talk about first, is it safe? This is backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. The studies were conducted over the last 12 or 13 years by the top, what are considered to be weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, rated number 1. They did over 40 years of research, over 100 studies, thousands of people to crack the code on obesity. This isn't some infomercial. This is a medical podcast where we're going to teach you exactly why you should be so excited about, well, 2 things. Number 1, if you really discover, and you can see it right there above our head in blue, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website where you all can go to see the medical proof, okay? But these researchers now believe, and they're backed up because they've been published in these huge medical journals, that they've cracked the code for obesity. It has nothing to do with counting calories. If you're still counting calories, you're back in the dark ages. I'm serious. First of all, I'd love for anybody to tell me, put the definition, anybody who knows, tell me the definition of a calorie. In the last, I don't know, year and a half, I've had one person that actually got it right. I didn't know what it was, so don't feel bad. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but I want you to understand why this whole notion around calories in, calories out is just silly. It's just silly because people, you don't know what you're counting. You don't know why you're counting. You don't really even know how you're counting it. And yet that's what we're relying on. And there's lots of nice people on social media. They're telling you, the only way to lose weight is calories in, calories out. Total nonsense. Completely dismantled in huge medical studies now. Now, it's taken them a long time. People like Harvard Medical School saying, stop counting calories. Do you all want to know how in the world did she do that? But she's not the only one. Okay, this is just one example. Let me show you another example right here. This is Kristen. Now, that's 30 days, 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches. And I'll tell you right away, it's not Photoshopped. It's not AI. But look, for example, look at her hip area. Look at her stomach and hip area, how much it came in. She's not holding it in. And by the way, no one in these pictures was allowed to exercise because the researchers didn't want exercise to be an outlier. In other words, you would have said, hey, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. They didn't exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising, okay? Now, let me show you another one. This is Julie. Look at this. And that's 35 pounds in 37 days. Now, I know you're all freaking out going, oh, that's not real. It's fake. No, it's not. This is it. This is what these researchers, it took them 40 years to figure this out. I mean, for any of you to lose 35 pounds, how long would you give yourself to lose 35 pounds? And then the last, not the last one, but this other young woman is the daughter of a friend of mine who's a realtor. Where do you see this? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? 60 in 3 months. And look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach area. I know you think it's all photoshopped, and almost all of you are going to go back to keto, paleo, meta, whatever you're on, because you don't believe that something like this exists. But you have to understand, it's not a matter of belief. When you have peer-reviewed medical studies, they did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, liver enzymes. This is real science for the first time ever. It's not some celebrity chef showing you recipes to lose weight. It's nonsense. There's no medical proof behind that until now. That's why this is so exciting. You all could change your lives. Now, I'm going to show for the men, Curtis. Look at this, everyone. 40 pounds, 52.5 inches in 30 days. And look, but the most impressive part, look at his lab work. A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days. Okay? So now I'm going to show you how in the world they did this. So let's just focus on Kristen for a moment. You can do the math. She lost a little over 5 pounds a week, 38.5 inches. Now the inches, remember, that's from her neck to her ankles in various parts of her body that she total inches lost, right? By the way, though, no exercise. So here's the simplest way for me to explain it to you. Here's why diets can't possibly work. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories, doesn't give a darn about calories. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for calories. The only thing, as a matter of fact, why do we eat food? I know it tastes good. No, that's not the main reason. The main reason to eat food is that food contains the nutrition that allows us to be alive. The nutrition runs the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the liver, the pancreas, etc. Okay? So think about what you do on a diet. When you go on a diet, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, but what else are you reducing? You're reducing the amount of nutrition. Well, when your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition to run all the organs, what does it have to do? It goes in starvation mode. It literally thinks you're starving the body to death, which you are from a nutritional standpoint. So what does it do? It immediately stops accessing the fuel in your fat cells and turns your muscles for fuel. This is not up for debate. We know this. Do you know that on any diet you're on, 25 to 40% of what you're actually losing is lean muscle mass? It's not fat. Anybody telling you burn fat on a diet or through exercise is just lying. You're born with a certain amount of fat cells, you die with a certain amount of fat cells, and you don't ever reduce the number unless you do surgery or liposuction. So this whole nonsense, you're burning fat, get over it. That's not true. Evidenced by the fact we have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Does that sound like to any of you that diets are working? Versus this, who's interested in this? Anybody interested in this? Anybody interested in finding out what did they actually do? So the researchers, once they figured out that the Achilles heel of all diets was simply based on the fact that a diet caused you to be in a deficit as far as nutrition was concerned. And when you didn't have enough nutrition, your body stopped using the fuel and your fat cells turns to your muscles. So what did they do? They said, wait a minute, let's see if we can do this. It was a theory. Can we figure out a way to reduce the quantity of the food, but let's increase the nutrition, if that's possible. So here's what she did. That's what the researchers did. The researchers did, not me. I had nothing to do with it. They created a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that were based not on calories, but on serving sizes, okay? That's what 30% of what she consumed in a month was from the grocery list that you would get that the researchers developed. Got it, everybody? But here was the key. The key was these researchers who don't have a company, they don't sell anything. This is not lotions, potions, capsules, supplements, doesn't work like that. But they found other researchers who for the last 20 years had gone around the world. And in some cases, they brought back nutrients in areas where people were living to be 100 years old and basically didn't get sick. And they came from places like Russia and Mongolia and Tibet and South America and New Zealand that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of food. For lack of a better term, let's call them exotic foods, okay? For lack of a better term. Okay, so now they had the ingredients that she was going to consume, right? 30% from her grocery store and 70% from these exotic foods around the world that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of volume, right? Then they created 2 new ways of consuming food. So 5 days a week, she actually had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast. Lunch came from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal from these exotic foods around the world. Got it? So 5 days a week, she was eating 4 times a day, starting with the exotic foods for breakfast, having lunch and dinner from the grocery store list, and the last meal the exotic foods. That's called protein pacing. That's what the researchers called it. Then 2 days a week, they did something, listen to me carefully, intermittent nutritional fasting. But not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. That's what they called it. On those days, absolutely no food from the grocery store at all, but only these exotic foods, but over like every 2 hours over the course of 12 to 14 hours. Nobody, tons of diabetics, no insulin spikes, none, zero. And people's were not hungry. Now they even prove that in the first 30 days, people's hunger went down 41%. And the desire to eat, or snacking as you might call it, went down 40% in a month. But that's not even the most impressive part. In a month's time, people's blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides all plummeted. And for the first time in history, they measured inflammation. Now, in case you didn't know it, me, you, we all suffer from inflammation. The medical world says that inflammation is the underlying cause of every disease out there. It went down 25% in 30 days. Now, lest you think we're not curing, diagnosing, making any medical claims whatsoever. All we're doing is showing you what's in the medical studies. So nothing is an opinion. We're not giving you opinions. If you want opinions, there's plenty of people on social media that will give you opinions with absolutely nothing. I would ask you all this. You're following these nice people. I see medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and weight loss coaches and trainers, etc. Have you ever seen one give you one shred of medical evidence? Why are you entrusting your own health to an opinion? All they're doing is giving you an opinion. You understand? If you don't have a peer-reviewed human trial study, it doesn't mean anything. If it's a scientific paper, it doesn't mean anything. Like I was talking to someone else yesterday about this new, supposed breakthrough, and they're doing studies, but this is not a peer-reviewed human trial study. They'll do a scientific paper. That doesn't mean a darn thing. I can talk to that. Listen, I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years, wrote 4 best-selling books, 20 shows on PBS, and 1,500 live lectures around the world at hospitals and universities, and even flew me to China. But for 22 of my 23 years in the medical world, you know what that counted for? Zero. Zero. Why? Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial studies. Yes, this could change your lives. Just tell us how to do this or where to get to your... Okay, so Colorado Grandma. I just went over that. Okay, 5 blood stars. So what do these exotic foods cost? Okay, so basically Colorado Grandma, the total, here's what people tell me. 30% of what you'd spend, only 30% of whatever you're spending now would be from the grocery store. The other 70% that you used to buy food from the grocery store, you're buying these exotic foods around the world. It turns out you're going to probably spend about as much as you are now on your total food budget. But look at the results. Colorado Grandma, how long would you give yourself to lose 20 pounds on any diet? You choose whatever diet, whatever trainer, go to the Denver Athletic. I live in Denver. If you're Colorado Grandma, if you live in, I'm in the tech center right now. That's where my office, where the studio where I'm shooting this. Where would you, so tell me, how long would you give yourself, any of you, to lose 20 pounds? Dry E, just get to the point. Well, you know what, Dry E, if you want to get to the point, there's plenty of people on social media. You don't have to be on this podcast. I'm a scientist. I really take umbrage when people want me to rush through something that could change someone's lives. This isn't some damn diet or some recipe. I'm serious. I get very upset about this. I've spent 23 years of my life being a nutritional researcher. And for 22 years, I kept going and going. And nobody in the medical world would take a look at this. And I didn't invent it. I had nothing to do with it. But if you want to know how to do it, I think I just explained it, but I'll do it again for everybody. So the principle is simple. Diets are a disaster. They do not work. There's no way. There's not one study showing. Well, I can read to you from the medical proof here. Here's one of the studies. Why you shouldn't count calories. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. That's what you're doing. You want to rush through? Then go on a diet and count calories. And 2/3 you're going to weigh more than when you started. I'll go as fast as I can, I promise. But if you think this is some lotion, potion, pill, we're going to give you recipes and it's the magic to lose 21 pounds in a month, or our poster girl, how about 25 pounds in 30 days? Or how about Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days? Or my 60 pounds in 3 months? I know you all want a simple 5-second answer. It's not that simple. What, you think you produce those kind of results with recipes, with a workout routine, with 10,000 steps, with making a list, with drinking water? No, it doesn't happen. Study after study shows diets are an abject failure. Keep doing them if you want. Keep doing it. My God, even in Medicare, a new study. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Here's what they said. Our researchers reviewed long-term outcomes of calories in, calories out diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on their diets. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. Well, keep doing your diet then. Keep doing paleo, keto, Mediterranean, workouts, 10,000 steps, drink more water, make a list. I mean, it's so much worse than that. Here's Johns Hopkins Medical School. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese. Does that sound to you like whatever diet you're on thinking about is going to work? You know, you heard the expression, no pain, no gain. I guess part of the pain is, yeah, it takes a little bit to explain it. This is not like you're going to order something off the shelf and here we go. No, it doesn't work like that. And again, I want to teach you a new concept. It's not food as you would normally think about. It's the nutrients. So 30% of the food she consumes, she got a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But they were based on serving sizes, not calories. And the researchers, the only thing they cared about was how much nutrition could you give you. That was it. That's why diets don't work. When you go on a diet, when you lower the amount of food you're consuming, you lower the amount of nutrition, which triggers in your brain starvation mode, prevents you from using the energy stored in your fat cells, turns to your muscles for fuel, slows down your metabolism. That's why you all gain all the weight back. You get mad at me because I'm not telling you fast enough. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Do you want me to, should I explain 10% of it or 20% of it or 100% of it? I mean, you all can do whatever you want to do. Are you producing those kind of results? Are you doing this? Are you doing 25 pounds in 30 days? I get trainers coming on there celebrating. Well, if we can get people to lose 1 or 2 pounds a week, that's so archaic. It's like we've set the bar so low, we think that's good when it's really pitiful. If someone has 60 pounds to lose, I mean, it's going to take them over a year. Wait a minute. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months. Which would you rather choose? I'm sorry I get so upset. My own mother was morbidly obese and died of obesity. I saw her diet herself to death. So I get pretty damn mad when people think, let's give you, well, then go to Weight Watchers. You want something simple? They'll give you points. The only thing is, the only points I ever count is in a football game or a basketball. Points, what? That's just, all they're doing is telling you a way to eat less food. But what no one's telling you, when you eat less food, you get less nutrition. That's the key to this. They figured out, we must give you more nutrition in less food. Not give you less food with less nutrition. That's what happened. That's why these diets don't work, all of you. I mean, you're really in a position where you can change your lives if you take this seriously. If not, if you just want, which foods are we going to buy? Oh, go get some broccoli and some spinach and some kale and some carrots and some mushrooms. No. That doesn't work. You don't need me for that. So, okay, so Colorado Grandma, it's right above her name. Do you see it there, the new health conversation? Great, AJ, that's wonderful. So make sure to reach out to, AJ, be sure to reach out to Sarah today, okay? All right, so who else is asking me questions? Look, Colorado Grandma, I'm on your side, okay? But the point is, Colorado Grandma, how long, I don't know, maybe you don't even want to lose weight, but let's say you wanted to lose 25 pounds. Colorado Grandma, how long would you give yourself? Pick the best diet you know of, pick the best trainer, go to whatever gym, go to the Denver Athletic Club, whatever you want to do. Which program would you pick? Thank you for all the likes, everybody. People are tapping on that screen and my likes are going up. So, okay, let's go over again. How in the world is this occurring? It's not a diet. First thing that I want to tell you is everything that I'm sharing with you is coming from these peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. The only studies that are done on like paleo, keto, Mediterranean, there's like maybe one on each one, The results are pitiful. They're trying to tell you that it's great to lose a pound a week. That's basically what they're saying. And saying, well, it's safe. Yeah, on a diet, if you lost more than a pound a week or 2 pounds, that's really unhealthy, because we already know that 25 to 40% of what you're losing is your lean muscle mass. And when you gain the weight back, we know that 95% is fat. It's fat expanding. It's not, you're not increasing lean muscle. Does this make sense to everybody? Who would like to ask me a question? Okay, so Grandma, sorry, I was going to tell you where you go to find out the new health conversation. So now what's on that website? I want to make sure I spelled it right. Okay, so it's right down in the comments for everybody, the new health conversation. It's also above her head there in blue. When you go there, you get we will not contact you, Grandma. We don't do that. If you go there, only thing there is the medical proof. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and you can get a free coach. See, what's so sad is that almost 100% of you are going to go back to paleo, keto, Mediterranean because you don't believe something like this exists. Well, do you use GPS? Do you understand how GPS works? Do you like GPS? So this is like the GPS for weight loss in a sense. But it's revolutionary. It's totally new. It's not about counting calories. It's not about 10,000 steps. It's not about going to the gym. As a matter of fact, these people weren't even allowed to exercise, because the researchers didn't want exercise to be part of this. Not that they were against exercise. They're not against exercise. Hear me clearly. They are not against exercise. But I'd love for anybody to ask me a question about, or if you just want me to explain it again about how they did this, okay. Vacant. Yeah, I saw your comment. That's not the same person. Well, okay, how about this one? Is that the same person? Or how about this one? Is that the same person? That's the daughter of a friend of mine who's a realtor. Now, unless you think I'm a complete slime ball and then I would Photoshop, I don't even know how to Photoshop, nor would we. We're scientists. We don't need to do that. Do you understand that, Vacant? Someone's saying, they're saying, well, for the rest of their lives. I lost 40 pounds 23 years ago. I've kept it up for 23 years. I think that's the Susan Field that I'm familiar with. Is it the same Susan Field I'm thinking about in Canada? I'm just curious. But anyway, for the rest of you, should I have to watch all long videos, or can I schedule consultation? You can schedule a consultation right away. The only reason we like you to watch the videos is because that's the scientific proof. And the reason you do it, it probably will prompt questions that you'll have. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize in advance. Hanuta, is that how I would pronounce it? Like, how do you get rid of the stomach? Well, how about this? How'd she do? Or, wait till you see Julie, everybody. Look at this. Look at that. How's that? That's with no exercise whatsoever. It's not a diet. So, light the way. So what you would want to do, it's up to you, okay? We've provided a free website for you to go to. You see it there, the new health conference. I see it right above your head in blue. Only thing there is the medical proof, okay? If you like what you see, then you can scroll down and you get free coaching the whole time. Free, not just initially, but they'll take you all the way. See, the key to this, everybody, is maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it up for 23 years. Anybody interested in that? I mean, I understand it's almost hard to believe. So Hanuta, you understand? You have the option, but I would, if you wanted my advice, I'd say watch. Especially there's one video there, 60 minutes, that'll change your life. If you're going to watch anything, it would be that. Then schedule your free consultation with one of the coaches, because you'll have more questions maybe, but you don't have to do it. In other words, if you want to go right there and schedule a consultation, go for it. It's fine. But it's to your benefit to understand more of how and why this, from the people who invented it. The interviews with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, not me. People get mad at me. We're doing an incredible public service. We're giving you an access to the free medical proof into the studies that they did. And then we will show you exactly what they did to create this result for free and teach you how to maintain it for the rest of your lives. Like I said, almost all of you are going to go back to doing whatever you were doing before. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you. But again, I can tell all of you, the whole diet thing is just nonsense. Listen, I've been doing this 23 years, and I've I would like to say I've learned a little bit. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the top medical doctors in the world. None of it's my research. That's why they call me the researcher of the researchers. So, clean keto. Great, okay. So what are you saying, Diane? Clean keto. Really? Well, let's read about keto. Let's read about low carbohydrate diets. This you may not know. This is from Nutrients, a huge study done on clean keto. The exposure to low carbohydrate diets is associated with significant reductions in lean muscle mass and increased osteoporosis risk in obese individuals. Yeah, do that keto. That sounds great. No, I'm not trying to be funny. This is a disgrace what's happening. You understand there is not one diet, okay? I mean, here, let me read to you, okay? Here you go. This study, the science behind why diets don't work, okay? Where they analyze, listen to this. Our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term diet studies of kind of every diet out there. And what we found is that dieting actually causes weight gain. The more you diet, the more someone diets, the more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. So not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. They went on to say, not only do diets fail at making us thinner, but they also make us unhealthier. Good luck with that clean keto. You have to understand scientifically, all these diets are being completely disbanded. Hell, we got 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. Do you think if clean keto or paleo or any of these worked, we'd have 80% of America overweight? We have more diets than we've ever had before, and we're getting bigger and bigger and sicker every year. Well, this other study over here, where is it? What did I do with it? Here it is. Clean keto, really? I mean, even Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. I know keto, they say, well, you're not counting calories, but you're reducing something. You're reducing carbohydrates. Guess what? We need carbohydrates to be alive. The right kind of carbohydrates. Not simple carbohydrates, but complex carbohydrates. Look, here's Johns Hopkins Medical School. This should just tell you what you need to know. Study predicts, this is Johns Hopkins, study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese. Does that sound like keto, paleo, counting carbs, cycling, carnivore? None of them work long term. None. Zero. Now, I'll give you an even more extensive study. Journal of the American. Remember, I'm not giving you an opinion. If you want opinions, there's plenty of people. Go follow the people telling you to do keto. They don't have any medical proof, but they'll tell you to do keto, right? Well, let's go to real medical proof, not my opinion. Journal of the American Medical Association, comparison of weight loss among named diet programs in overweight and obese individuals. What they did, they looked at, listen to this, 48 unique randomized trials, 7,286 individuals, and they named keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, water fasting, Cornish diet, the zone diet, lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, and more. They did a 12-month study just to show you how ineffective, whether it was keto or paleo. The only difference in weight between the most amount of weight loss in a year and the least amount of weight loss in a year was 10 ounces. And all the people lost at the course at a year was 16 pounds, and up to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. I mean, you think I'm making this stuff up? You can ignore it. You can pretend, oh, I'm going to do paleo, I'm going to do keto, I'm going to do time-restricted eating. Great. But, I mean, according to Medicare's search for obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. This is Medicare, for crying out loud, saying it. Medicare. They went on to say, our researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calories in, calories out, and other diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. These studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost in their diets. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets of any kind lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. They're still searching for an answer. Well, guess what? Here's the answer backed up by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Nobody has this. Who? I just read to you from the keto, but the study of pretty much all diets in a year, we're just defining the definition of insanity. And like I said, I realize almost every one of you is going to go back to whatever diet you're on, thinking somehow that I'm lying, I'm making up things, this isn't real, you can't do this. Because again, how many of you, no one's even been brave enough to put in the chat. If you wanted to lose 25 pounds on any diet, pick any trainer, pick any diet, how long would you give yourself? Be honest. How long would you give yourself? Now, you can think we photoshopped that. You can think we're lying, which we're not. Yeah. Well, what's 5-star, blue star? What information you want? I already went over it 3 different times, okay, just to let you know. Let me see. Okay. Is that not a result of the trash food? Yes, a big part of the trash food we're supplying. Okay, you're repeating many things. 5-star, do it. No, it sounds like what we are pointed as food, which are not. Yes, you're exactly right. Carnivore dropped weight and gained muscle. Hyperketosis lost more. Yeah, but look, we're big fans of carnivore, just to let you know, but not the way you're doing it, because you're massively short of nutrients. You're getting no minerals in the steak, chicken, liver, fish you're eating. You need complex carbohydrates for the damn brain. I know Dr. Salovati, I like him, he's good. You know, he's eating organ, he's eating, organ parts, I get it. But you got to understand also what carnivore doesn't do. It doesn't remove any chemicals from your body. See, the thing you all should be scared to hell about is we now know there's this new medical syndrome called TDOS that I have and you have and every person on the planet. Toxicity driven by nutritional deficiency, overweight, and stress. Hell, did you see the articles from studies 3 weeks ago? You're storing plastics in your brain and your coronary arteries. Carnivore doesn't touch that. Carnivore, there's never been a study on any diet up until now that was removing any chemicals from our body. These researchers did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, proving this is removing chemicals from the body. I'm a big fan of carnivore, but not the way you probably did it, because you're still woefully short of nutrients. So, I mean, you're still, my own son does carnivore every day, but not the carnivore the way you do it. I'm not against it, so don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you. But this whole thing is nonsense. I'm not talking about carnivore. I'm just talking diets in general. The thing that you need in your body are specific nutrients that drive all the organs in your body. Now, one of the things I'll tell you for the person doing carnivore that you probably don't know. I know you're thinking, well, because we need amino acids. Yeah. How do we get amino acids? Not from carbs, not from fats, only from proteins. But here's what they're not telling you. Even Sardano, he's not telling you this. In Europe, they developed a test about 8 years ago through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. When you ingest protein from meat, either from animals or from vegetables, they can tell you get all 20 amino acids. 9 are what are called essential, 11 are non-essential. But what you probably don't know is they were measuring what percentage of those aminos are being used by your body. Well, that's going to make vegans really mad when I tell you this. The absorption of amino acids from a plant is only 15%. 85% is toxic waste. All this carnivore meat, chicken, liver, fish, swordfish, I don't know, whatever the hell you're eating, is only 30%. See, this is where you're woefully short. The researchers found a source that the availability of the amino acids was 91%, which means you'd have to eat about 3 pounds of steak to get the same amount of amino acids as in 1 serving of this protein. But the thing you don't understand, what happens to the other 70% of the aminos that aren't used? It turns into toxic waste called nitrogen catabolites. You can look it up. Now your kidneys are dealing with urea, creatine, ammonia, and glucose that the kidneys have to get rid of. That's why when people on kidney dialysis, they don't want to have any protein at all. So don't think I'm against carnivore, but it's not the answer. Or, sorry, it's not the total answer, okay? Let's just say that, right? No, it sounds like, okay, so also carnivore drop weight. Okay, 2 new messages. All right, let's see. Yes, I'd love to know how, thank you, I promise. How do you do it? Yes, my blood sugar went up. Okay, well, you're proving my point. I'm not trying, listen everyone, I'm on your side. Please understand that. My job is to make you aware. Now, if I make you mad, I can't help it. The science doesn't give a damn about me or my glasses or my tie. It doesn't even matter if you like me. It has nothing to do with it. We're researchers. We're showing you the proof, for crying out loud. Who else is showing you the proof? Carnivore. They don't have any peer-reviewed human trial studies. Like I said, my son does it every day, so obviously I'm not against it, but doesn't do it the way that you're traditionally being taught to do it. I mean, It's just crazy. Okay, so, all right, so everybody's mad at me now. Okay, now watch. I'm going to explain to you now what they did. All right? So first of all, let's figure out, on all diets, at some point, you're reducing the amount of nutrition you're consuming. So I guess I'll pick on carnivore again. Yes, you're getting protein, you're getting amino acids, but you're not getting 70 trace minerals. You're not getting 21 naturally occurring vitamins. You're not getting, there are two elements that the researchers use that come from Mongolia and Tibet. No cow has it in the United States. These nutrients don't exist in North America. So right away, you're already deficient. And what do these nutrients do in this from Mongolia and Tibet? They lower stress and proven in the studies. They brought down inflammation 30% in 25% in 30 days. No diet's ever done that. So what did they do? The researchers said, stop the presses. The only thing that matters to your body is the amount of nutrition that you have, because we all have a minimum threshold of nutrition. But that's not just protein, see? It's fats, carbs. You need fat for your brain, for example, all right? So when you go on these fat-free diets, good luck. All right, so what they did, they said, let's disband anything we ever, they did 40 years of, they're the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, the top people. And what they did, they figured out that what they would have to do with people if they could give you less food, but increase your nutrition. That was the theory. Well, they proved it. What she did, what everybody did, they got a grocery list, but only 30% of the food she consumed came from organic sources, and they were what? Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, fruits. But very specific serving sizes. Remember, it wasn't about quantity, it was about quality. Does everybody get this? So 30% of what she consumed and everybody else, and these researchers developed the grocery list that you would get. You don't know how to, because again, which foods would you select, and then what are the amounts? All laid out for you, no guesswork, all right? Then what they did, they found because the researchers who invented this, they don't have any products, they don't have a company, they don't do that. They're scientists, right? 40 years they've been trying to find the solution to weight loss and obesity, and now they found it, and here's how they did it. That's what I'm explaining to you now. The other 70% came from other researchers who for 20 years had literally gone around the world finding nutrients in huge amounts that don't exist in North America. Not that we don't have the nutrients, but the quantities are becoming less and less and less every single year as our food becomes more and more nutritionally insufficient. That's a nice way of saying it. But some of the nutrients they found were being taken by people who are living 100 years with basically no sickness. You interested in that? So that 70% of what all of them consume came from, I'll call them exotic foods from around the world, okay? And it's not like kale and spinach. It doesn't work like that. Some of them were nutrients. Some of these things are that you make them in a liquid, like you can have as a tea or you can drink it cold. That's what these people are doing. And some are living to be 100. Hell, whatever they're taking, I want to take. I don't know about you all. Go to McDonald's if you want. No, I'm kidding. I didn't mean that. So now they had the ingredients, right? 30% from the grocery store and 70% for these foods. Then they invented two completely new ways of consuming food. 5 days a week, they had 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. What? Yeah. They started with these exotic foods from around the world for breakfast. That was breakfast. No food from the grocery store. Lunch, the food list from the grocery store. Dinner, the grocery store list. And a fourth meal from these exotic foods around the world. Well, what do you mean? How could she have 4 meals in a day? Because it wasn't based on quantity. It was based on quality. It was based on what the body really runs on. Here's a better example for all of you. Let's say you went today to fill up for gas, and there were only 2 gas pumps. One said this gallon will take you 20 miles. Pump number 2 says this gallon will take you 100 miles. That's these 70% of what she was consuming. It wasn't based on the quantity. It was based on the nutritional density. Okay? So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something that'll spin all of you out. She did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting. Not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, absolutely no food from the grocery store at all, only these exotic foods. But this time, she was, they're called nutrient-dense feedings every 2 hours over about a 12 or 14-hour period. Diabetics had no insulin spikes. Because again, when they're trying to do this with diabetics, the food that they're consuming is nutritionally almost bankrupt, and it's causing these fluctuations. Hell, they had in these studies, they had diabetics monitored by their doctors at the end of a month. All the diabetics on meds, the doctors cut their meds by 50%. My God, insulin came down in a month, 41%. That's never been seen before. This is not a diet. Again, if you all want to try and put it in a category and think it's keto or paleo or Mediterranean, and look, right above her head in blue, there's the answer. It's a free medical website for you to go to, The New Health Conversation. There's nothing to buy there. Only thing there is the medical proof, including an interview with the #1 nutrition research physiologist in the world. He's ranked #1 in the world, the top researcher. He explains to you why better than I can do it. He'll just tell you, his team, they'll never recommend to any patient ever again any form of traditional dieting. He said, Peter, be unethical. Why would we have her go through the torture? She lost as much weight in a month as people lose in a year. And you can see she shrank. Where's the loose skin? Look at their stomach on day 1 and then look at it on day 30. That's not Photoshop. That's the same woman. People are already accusing me of, it's not the same woman. Really? See, just because you have an opinion based on something that has no scientific backing, or the scientific backing that's there is pitiful. I mean, Harvard Medical School, everyone, listen, I'm going to read to you this. Stop counting calories. This is Harvard Medical School. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says a team at Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said it's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. What the heck they don't have anything to do with Harvard, but that's exactly what they did. Give you more nutrition in less quantity. That was it. Now does it make sense to everybody? Now do you understand why you should be at least excited to go there for free and see all the medical proof, including the medical studies? Someone was asking me about, I'd like to know what you think. Okay, so do you think some veggies are toxic? Oh, of course. As a matter of fact, TDJ, let me explain it to you. We now know, for example, in 200 studies that organic foods, vegetables, fruit, whatever, yes, they're more nutritious than regular food, but only by about 10 to 15%. The reason to do organic, just to let you know, is because it's less polluted. But here's again another misconception. Even organic food has 25 to 30% of the same herbicides and pesticides they use on regular crops. Now, how in the hell does that happen? Because my right hand would be an organic field and my left hand is a regular field. So my left hand, the crop duster comes over spraying the chemicals. Was there any wind in the United States blowing those chemicals over into the organic field? And that's how the organic ends up with 25 or 30% of the same herbicides and pesticides. In addition, when you spray these crops, it falls to the ground, the rain comes, forces it down into the water table, and because the organic field and the regular field are sharing the same water table, they're consuming the same water, and that's why. Look, does anybody really believe, if we're talking about, and it's not me saying this, but honest to God, in 1964, 15% of America was overweight or obese. And right now, they're projecting in 4.5 years, John Hopkins, 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. Does that sound to you like what you're doing, whatever diet you're on, actually works? And then you've got people like, here's Medicare. What's Medicare trying to do? It's trying to bring healthcare costs down. Do you know that being obese, according to Harvard Medical School, contributes to over 40 known diseases? And the biggest threat to all of us is a new phenomenon called metabolic syndrome. What does it mean? It means if you have 3 of these 5 factors, overweight, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, you're considered metabolically unhealthy. Right now, of the 1.5 trillion healthcare budget we have in this country, 1.5 or 1.3 trillion of it is metabolic syndrome, which is a lifestyle disease caused event. Where are we headed, everybody? Where are we headed? And yet you want to come on and argue with me about keto or paleo or Mediterranean. You can do whatever. I'm not, you've got to understand, I'm neutral. What we're saying is the medical proof says any form of dieting is a total bust. The new medical science says they found the breakthrough. That's what she did. That's what look at this. That's 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at the body change. You think we photoshopped that? You think we lied? You can. I get it. It's fine. But, and then Kristen, that's 5 pounds a week. She only had 35 pounds to lose. That's why I show this. Look at the change from her hips. Once I move my fat head out of the way. Look at that. Are any of you doing that in 30 days or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 11? Killing yourself in the gym? Really? And we're not against, no one's saying, we're not against exercise, not me, but the research. But they didn't let anybody exercise here because they didn't want it to be an outlier. Or wait a minute. Well, how about that? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? Is it the same woman? Yeah, it's the daughter of a friend of mine who's a realtor. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach area. Are any of you producing anything like that? I know you're not. And I know you think that, and the tragedy is almost all of you are going to go back to whatever diet you're on now. Oh, it's a celebrity diet, or it's the shot. I'm not against the shots, by the way. I'm going to show you the medical evidence on the shot here in just a moment if you're all curious about that. Real medical proof, not what you're seeing on TV in an ad. So let's talk about the shots right now, the GLP-1s. And you all can look this up. The New England Journal of Medicine, once weekly semaglutide in adults overweight and obese. This was a 68-week study, a year and 4 months. Got it, everybody? After 68 weeks, the weight loss was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. And they went on to say in this study that this was clinically relevant reductions in body weight. Wait a minute. I don't think Kristen did she get the memo? She lost 21 pounds in 30 days? Or, see, Curtis, he didn't get the memo. Wait a minute. He lost 40 pounds in a month. He must not have got the memo to do the shot. And we're not against the shots. I'm being silly. It's helping diabetics and helping people morbidly obese. But it's all relative. Do you understand that all the shot is another form of reducing the amount of food you consume? Because it slows down the food moving through your digestive tract. You're not as hungry. You don't eat as much food. But what are you getting less of? Nutrition. Do you all, if you learn anything from this, that's what it's about. It's not about kale or spinach or broccoli those are okay. But hell, our food in North America is becoming almost nutritionally bankrupt. Let me give you one example. Cornell University did a study on the iron levels in spinach from 1953 to year 2000. They estimate the nutritional value of the iron in spinach has decreased over that period of time from 1953 to 2000 by 4,300%. What? Well, yeah, a bowl of spinach in 1953, today, the equal equivalent, you need between 30 and 40 bowls of spinach. And you wonder why we're overweight. You wonder why we're hungry. Do you ever wonder why you're never satisfied no matter how much you eat? Because you're lacking nutrition. It's not about calories. Calories, I mean, it's just so silly. Again, I've been waiting all this time for anybody to give me the definition of a calorie. We've been on here for almost an hour. No. I've had one person get the definition right in a year, and I didn't know what a calorie was either. Why are you counting calories? Seriously, any of you, put it in the chat. Tell me why you're counting calories. I'd love to know your opinions. Well, again, to answer your question, TJ, I just saw it now. I apologize. I get so wrapped up in I don't even look at the comments sometimes until afterwards. Well, obviously, you got food allergies, so you can have vegetable. So that's why a lot of people, one of the things that we teach people, not us, but what they did, they created an elimination diet where during the first 11 days, they pretty much eliminated everything except for protein, by the way, which was a carnivore version. And then as they began to add back things like Brussels sprouts and broccoli, things people have been maybe eating their whole lives, all of a sudden, they couldn't tolerate it. So yes, I wouldn't call it toxicity as much as I would call it just the fact that some of these food groups really are causing irritation in the body, and you may not even know about it unless you do some form of an elimination, if that makes sense to you, right? What do I eat? Lean chicken, fish, salmon, obviously vegetables, fruits. I do Well, I never even told all of you, the key to this thing is maintenance, okay? Like that picture you're looking at there is 8 or 9 years old. He's kept the weight off for 8 or 9. Everybody you're looking at here, all these pictures are 8 or 9 years old. They've all been able to maintain whatever they've lost for 8 or 9 years. So basically what I do is I have these exotic foods for breakfast, then a healthy lunch, like I said, lean chicken, fish, or maybe just a salad. And then dinner, again, the same thing. And then maybe I do once every, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks, I'll do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast because, again, because of the toxins, which is the main reason to do this in the first place, right? And I don't know if you were on before when I talked about this medical syndrome that you and I and every person in the world has called TDOS, where T for toxicity, D for nutrition deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark by the U.S. Patent Office as a new medical condition that, yes, I did discover it. And what it really means is we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. And as they enter the body takes the chemical and stuffs it in what's your visceral fat. And you've got to understand, people tell you go on these diets and you burn fat. Total nonsense. As a scientist, we're born with a certain amount of fat cells. We die with a certain amount. Unless you do liposuction surgery, you have the same number of fat cells. Now, what the fat cells do is they either expand or they contract. And when you're ingesting the chemicals that we can't avoid, even if you're thin, your body is storing those chemicals inside the fat cells. Now, in most people where they're overweight, they have all this excess fat, and that you can see it. And you can see what happened. Look at her stomach area. That's exactly 30 days. Well, that's because she was detoxifying. And as you begin to pull, the body does this, not this protocol. The body pulls the chemicals out of the fat cell shrinks. And you can see it there. You can see it even more dramatically in Julie. You can see her. I mean, look, she's a smaller person from her shoulders to her waist. That's not Photoshopped. I mean, how many she lost? That's 35 pounds in 37 days, so almost a pound a day. You're all excited about a pound a week, maybe a pound a week, right? Am I right? Again, no one has come here and said to me, good, TJJ, it makes sense, right? And for all of you, what I invite you to do, okay, is you can see right there in blue above our head, the new health conversation. Notice, free coaching. You've never done anything like this before. We got coached. So we know how to teach you how to do what we did. You don't buy anything from us. We don't have a company. We don't have any food to sell you. 30% of what you're going to consume comes from the grocery store. You're going to get a grocery list that the researchers developed of proteins, fats, carbs, and fruits and vegetables. And the other 70% from these exotic foods from around the world that other suppliers found from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand that represent huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of quantities of food, if that makes sense. Okay? All right, so again, let me put it below you, TDJ, let me put it down there for you as well. This is the website to go to. It's totally free for all of you. Let me just post it. Okay, you can see it. It's also above our head, the new health conversation. Now, one other thing I want to share with all of you. I talked to you about this TDOS syndrome, which I have, you have, every person on the planet suffers from TDOS, which means we're storing chemicals in our fat cells. Hell, did you see the thing 3 weeks ago? They're now finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries, but what else are they finding inside of us? Herbicides, pesticides, Scotchgard, Teflon, all these chemicals. Now, what's so ironic about this, it wasn't until 2005, Mount Sinai Medical School in New York did the first study on humans, realizing we were storing chemicals in our body. I find that hard to believe, but that's what happened. So I want to read to you now 20 years later, what they're now saying after about 1,000 studies. So pay close attention because you may learn something that could change the rest of your life, okay? Because nobody avoids the TDOS syndrome. There's nobody on the planet that doesn't have TDOS, right? But now here's what they're saying about it. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. And these chemicals are called obesogens. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds in soy, artificial hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed into produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, are you listening, ladies? And blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, are you listening, men? And essentially reprogram us to gain weight. What are y'all doing about, which diet are you on that deals with obesogens? Because it's not carnivore, it's not paleo, it's not keto, it's not Mediterranean, it's not fasting, it's not water fasting. They did the studies. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that's why she shrank. Look at her stomach. Well, you can think it's Photoshop. And that's 30 days with no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, no anything. Just doing this protocol. And you all can absolutely go there for free and see it. The medical proof. I don't want you to believe me. Yeah, I mean, this is for all of you. And I think the sad thing is that most of you are going to go back to what you were doing before, which is doomed to failure, not because I say so, but let me give you the technical definition of why counting calories doesn't work. Not my opinion. This is the medical proof. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss, initially the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained. What are you doing? Did you know you're going on, 2/3 of you are going on a diet to gain more weight than you lost? You think I'm making this up? I'm not making it up. What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We're defining the definition of insanity. I know you have a great hope and a great wish and a great desire to lose weight and get healthy. But can you imagine how disappointed you're going to be? No one's arguing that you can lose weight on any of these calorie reduction diets in the short run. But like I said in this other big study, why you shouldn't count calories. Here's what they said. Our researchers found that while counting calories and restricting calories help people lose weight in the short term, the calories in, calories out approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse is 2/3 of the people who we studied gained more weight than they lost on any diet. They went on to say, counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, 2 factors that are known to cause weight gain. Are you just going to ignore the science? And you're going to, I mean, celebrity endorsements and fitness trainers and all these people, but where's their medical proof? Where's the proof behind what they're telling you? And then when you do see the proof, like I said, when they did this study, this was a 12-month study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, a comparison of weight loss among named diet programs. What it meant was they looked at 48 unique randomized trials, 7,286 people in 12 months. And they named all the major diets. It's right in the study: paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, carnivore, lose weight for your blood type, zone diet, Jenny Craig Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. 12-month study. Now, here's why you know diets are so ineffective. This was a medical study. They don't have any dog in this hunt. They just were testing the results, right? The most amount of weight loss in a year to the least amount of weight loss in a year across all these diets. You know what it was? 10 ounces. And what was the weight loss in a year? 16 pounds, and up to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. We're not arguing. You're going to lose weight initially on any of these diets. You think, well, this is really great. I'm going to get my weight off. Even if you get your weight off, 2/3 you're going to weigh more than when you started. Why are you doing this? Why is anybody counting calories? I'd love for somebody tell me, put it in the chat, tell me why you're counting calories. I'd love to know. So who else would like to ask me a question? And we do have 2,000 likes. That's really nice. If any of you are still on, you can tap on the screen. So now it's 9:30 on the East Coast. And let's see, I'm at 58 minutes. I'm going to probably go another 5 minutes, but if anybody would like to ask me a question and you ask the question, I'll stay on longer. I promise you that I will stay on longer. Maybe no one has a question for me. It's okay. You don't have to have a question for me, but I'm here. This is a live podcast. It's not pre-recorded. It's not an infomercial. It's based on real medical proof. All right, well, I think I've answered most of the questions that people asked me. Let me just scroll back up if I can here, see if I missed anybody. Let's see. Should I watch? So, Hanuta, hopefully you went to the website and figured that out. How do I get rid of the stomach? I talked to you about that. with clean keto. No thanks. Joe Blanco is not a result of the trial. Yeah, exactly. You're repeating. Okay, except I know it sounds like what we're provided as food. Yeah, I think I answered all the questions that people had, at least up to this point, and figure that I'll probably go live again around, let's say 11:30, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today, and I'll probably do at least 2 more over the course of this whole day. But I hope that you've learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. But more importantly, I hope you'll go to that website right above her head there, the New Health Conversation. So read that paper. Well, five blue stars. It's not a paper. It's the let me show it to you, 5-star, just so you know. I'm going to show everybody. Here's the website. There's nothing to buy there. Like number one is the most important thing is probably module number one, which is a podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, ranked number one. And he talks about how this long struggle to find this and why he says this, they will never recommend to any of their patients a traditional diet of any form ever again. They said it would be unethical because they said, why would we put people on diets where we know that 25 to 40% of their lean muscle they're going to lose and 2/3 of them end up weighing more than when they started? So that website, there's nothing to buy there. There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks. And if you like what you see, 5 blue star, then you can schedule a free a consultation with one of the coaches who will coach you all the way through. So it's not a matter of can you you don't have to worry. You'll get all your questions answered. Because, listen, we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady, 91, and her younger sister, 80, lost 91 pounds in 8 months. 8 months ago, couldn't climb a flight of stairs. Now she's running up, not only is she running upstairs, she's playing pickleball 3 times a week. She's swimming 3 times a week and walking 4 miles a day at 80 years of age. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no thyroids. We have people with no gallbladders. We have people with kidney transplants. And clarify, we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, and making any medical proclamations whatsoever. We're only sharing with all of you, including you, Blue Star, the medical proof. This is the only protocol in the world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, period. It's not like let's have a discussion about it because no one else has 10. I mean, and the studies that really are done on these other diets weren't really done by the people that initiated the diets. I'm just telling you. I mean, all of this nonsense. I'll give you another example, everybody. So a big trend, maybe some of you are already doing it, is this what's called time-restricted eating, where you don't eat for 16 hours, you fast 16 hours, you eat for 8. And they're telling you can lose 20 pounds in a month, and most of what you lose is fat. Well, let's verify something. There's no such thing as losing fat. It can shrink or it can expand. So let's get that. That's a complete fabrication. But let's go to a medical study now in the Journal of the American Medical Association on this time-restricted eating where you don't eat for 16 hours, you eat for 8. Here's what they said. The Journal of the American Medical Association, new research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily over the course of 3 months gained almost no benefit from it. It lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight that they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. See, this is the misinformation. So it sounds good. I see the people, they look like nice people. Maybe they really believe this nonsense, but there's no, you got to understand, there's no, the medical evidence now says, why would you ever do that? It's nothing more than a diet. That's all it is. And the majority of what you're losing, like on all diets, everybody, is your lean muscle mass. This isn't me making it up. I mean, you got to understand, I can't make up the science. But it's just so crazy that all of you are in such a position that somehow you think that going on a diet can gain muscle weight along with muscle loss. So I'm sorry. So read that paper. Well, again, 5 blue stars. It's not the paper. It's going to the website and looking at the medical proof that's there, which I just showed to all of you. Okay, so anyway, I do have to run for right now. It's 9, almost 9:45 on the East Coast. So I figure I'll come back on again around 11:30 or 12. But listen, in the meantime, you can send anybody to that website. They don't have to be on my podcast. And if you go there, we won't contact you. So don't think if you go there, you're going to get some sales pitch from us. We don't do that. We don't need to. We rely on the medical proof. Now, if you don't believe in medicine, then don't go there. Don't waste your time. Think it's keto, paleo, carnivore, whatever you're doing, think that that's going to be the solution long term. But it's not. It just isn't. Sorry. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody for right now, and I'll come back on again, like I said, 11:30, 12 Eastern time today. I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, afternoon, because this podcast is going all over the world. And anyway, it's my privilege to be here to share this information with all of you. So everybody, bye for now.